Police say they talked with 24-year-old Randy Kutej 8 times before he charged them and was gunned down. Despite that, they say, they feel they have been losing the public relations battle over how they handled the incident. So today, police released excerpts of telephone negotiations between Detective Ron Owen and Kutej. They say the tapes show they tried to get the gunman to give up without using violence, but that Kutej was determined to die.
Oh, Randy, there's really no reason for this. There's no reason for anybody to get hurt.
Well, there's no reason, you know. That's why I asked for a revolver. Kind of afraid of that old big barrel, you know.
Well, you don't need a revolver if no one's going to get hurt.
Well, I was planning on just blowing my brains out, man.
Well, I wish...
And that's what I want a revolver for. Now, if you can't get me one, then this man's going to die, and so am I, because I got 2 rounds of double-up back in my shotgun.
At a news conference today, police said they wanted the public to know they tried to talk Kutej out and to see the type of person they were dealing with.
In this particular case, I think you can see from what you've heard that Mr. Kutej was bent on self-destruction. We were operating under the assumption, by his own admission, that he had a loaded gun, and that the actions that we took in the end were of last resort.
3 times in the past year, tactical team officers have shot and killed armed men, but only in Kutej's case were they able to establish communication. But police say in all 3 cases, they feel the men they were dealing with wanted police to shoot. Jeff Fowler, News 4.
Suzie Cheevers is starting her 5th season with Ballet Oklahoma. She is one of 5 Oklahoma natives that make up the 17-member dance troupe. In recent years, Ballet Oklahoma has played to packed houses all over the Midwest. The dancers have established themselves as one of the strongest companies in the region. But rave reviews don't pay bills. Unless Ballet Oklahoma can raise $125,000 by December 31st, the organization may be forced to fold. The manager claims the Oklahoma economy and a lack of leadership in recent years has left the ballet troupe in a fiscal squeeze.
Most organizations build their support base with a large number of individuals giving a large variety of different sizes of gifts, $25, $50, $100, $250 gifts. Because of the uniqueness of Oklahoma City in the early 1980s with the oil and gas wealth here, this company expanded on a very narrow base of a small number of contributors giving large numbers of dollars. That is not the case anymore.
Oklahoma City is one of only a few municipalities that don't contribute city money to the arts. But Ballet Oklahoma directors don't feel that $125,000 is an insurmountable sum. Past fundraisers have netted more than $100,000 in a matter of hours, let alone months. No one is expecting the curtain to come down on this prestigious dance company, at least not yet. Kurt Autry, News 4.
Wyoming authorities brought Royal Russell Long to the attention of local prosecutors after they noticed similarities between the disappearance of 2 girls from the Oklahoma State Fair and the abductions of 2 Wyoming hitchhikers. Long is currently serving 2 life terms after pleading guilty to the Wyoming kidnappings.
The state also alleges that on or about the 27th day of September 1981, the crime of murder in the 1st degree was feloniously committed in Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, by Royal Russell Long, who willfully, unlawfully, and with malice aforethought killed Cinda Leanne Hallett.
Local prosecutors today notified Long they would seek to have him executed for the alleged murders of Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett. The girls' bodies have never been found, but local prosecutors hope to use circumstantial evidence to prove that Long committed the crimes.
I have to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that the girls are in fact dead. Now, I've done that in one prior case without a body. In this case, time will be on our side because it's been 4 years and the girls have not been seen or heard from. There has not been a positive sighting in 4 years' time.
It's going to cost the state a lot of money. It's going to cost the family a lot of heartache, and it's going to be hard on the defendant too. They've thrown the gauntlet down, they've picked the fight, and we're ready to get at it and get it on.
Local authorities have 180 days to complete their prosecution of Long. After that, the accused killer will be returned to Wyoming to finish serving his double life sentences. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Oklahoma County Courthouse.
Coming up, hearings on phone rates and racing commissioners.
And a preview of 42nd Street.
Well, the award-winning musical 42nd Street is coming to Oklahoma City, opening tomorrow evening. A couple of weeks ago, photographer Brian Sweet and I got a preview look at the show in St. Louis. It's a musical of high energy, familiar songs, and lots of big production numbers. The story is fairly simple about a young chorus girl who becomes a star. It's a story not too far-fetched for at least one member of this talented cast.
So the step I want to work on is and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 5 and 6, okay? 5, 6, 7, 8 and
It's a world of hard work, talent, and intense discipline. The reward is to be on stage. The hope is to become the star.
I can't believe what I'm doing. I mean, I might seem a little blasé about it, but deep down inside, it's great.
Cathy Wydner's story is a lot like 42nd Street. After auditioning for months, joining the chorus, being an understudy, Cathy's chance at stardom happened when the leading lady couldn't go on. The rest is history.
Now I'm Peggy Sawyer, so I'm real happy. It does parallel the story. The story is chorus girl becomes the star, and that's really what happened in my real life. It took me a lot longer in real life, almost 5 years, to get this part.
Cathy Wydner's toe-tapping part is just one of the reasons audience seem to love this musical. In a sense, it's a celebration of the American musical. Lots of production numbers, lots of fine dancing, and a treasure chest of familiar songs.
I find it appeals to everybody. I find that it appeals to youngsters who think of it as great nostalgia, and I find that it appeals to the people who are old enough to just barely remember. And of course, those who've seen the black and white movie that it's taken from, I mean, absolutely revel in it.
The thing I like the most is that it's such a crowd pleaser. I mean, the audience just loves it, and it's great for the family. I think the public wants to be entertained, and this is just entertaining from beginning to end.
makes you tap your toes. As I mentioned, 42nd Street opens tomorrow night at the Civic Center and runs through Sunday. By the way, there is a familiar face to lyric audiences in the 42nd Street cast. Luke Stallings performed in several lyric productions and is now traveling with 42nd Street and looking forward to seeing many of his Oklahoma City friends this week.
Looks like it's going to be fun.
It is. Cute show.
Coming up in sport.
This is a finished product. Slick, tight production numbers with lots of tapping feet. But these numbers don't just come together or stay together without lots of effort.
Specifically, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a 7, and a 8.
Rehearsals like this are for cleaning up and fine-tuning what the dancers already know. It also shows the stark transformation between rehearsal and the performance. For 42nd Street, that transformation also means 2,000 pieces of wardrobe, including 500 costumes and 150 wigs.
If they're not well made, they fall apart. So if you get a cheap wig, it wouldn't last one month. Yeah. Here we are, becoming Dorothy Brock. Right before your eyes.
It's such a transformation that's going on throughout the Civic Center at this hour. So tonight at 8, the finished product will come alive on stage.
It's been 3.5 years since Northwest Oklahomans voted to allow parimutuel horse racing. Many area residents are wondering why there hasn't been a racetrack built near Enid or any place else in the state.
And believe you me, there's millions of dollars going out of this state today to other tracks because of this very fact that you don't have the purses in.
A special State House committee is investigating Oklahoma horse racing. Much of the committee's attention is focusing on the State Horse Racing Commission. Critics are unhappy with the commission proposal to allow only one major racetrack in Oklahoma.
I see no reason why we can't have a track in Garfield County. I see no reason we can have a track in Thackerviille or Love County, one in Tulsa and one in Oklahoma City. If they've got the money to put them up, let them put them up.
The House Special Horse Racing Committee plans to hold several more public hearings around the state. Committee members are likely to hear the same questions at their other stops. Why are there still no new horse racing tracks in Oklahoma 3 years after voters said let's race? Scott Wallace, News 4 in Enid.
Having found the defendant guilty, assess his punishment at life imprisonment.
That was the sentence over 3 years ago. Mike Harmon, convicted of Tammy Carter's brutal murder.
I'm still innocent.
Who set you up, Mike?
I don't know who set me up, and I don't think it might. I think it was just a matter of being around the wrong people at the wrong time.
Today, the same judge who sentenced Harmon released him. The action was taken after the Oklahoma Appeals Court overturned the conviction, and the DA claimed he lacked enough evidence to retry the case. Tammy Carter's parents reluctantly agreed with the DA.
So we agreed with them to try to get more evidence and bring him back to trial because I know he's guilty. And I think somebody out there has got to have a conscience and that he's talked to that will come forward with more information, hopefully.
This is the Moore Dry Cleaners where Tammy Carter was murdered. She was an employee. The reaction to the release of Mike Harmon was especially strong here.
It just made me kind of sick.
Why is that?
I just lost faith in the justice system.
The owners of other shops in the area agreed.
It angers me.
Why is that?
If he did it, which he was convicted of doing it, right, then I don't feel he ought to be out so soon.
Harmon could be retried at a later date if prosecutors feel they can collect enough evidence. Dan Slocum, News 4.
Dewey George Moore was already in jail when searchers found Jennifer Gilbert's body last September. Midwest City police arrested Moore the morning of the murder for driving a car which had been reported stolen. When investigators discovered that Moore's car matched the description of the vehicle used to kidnap the 12-year-old girl, they obtained warrants to search Moore's Midwest City mobile home. Detectives testified they found several pieces of possible evidence inside the house trailer, including a used sanitary napkin, hair, and clothing fibers. A few days later, searchers found a paper bag on top of a grocery store near Moore's mobile home. Inside that bag, police found a knife, another sanitary napkin, a belt, some wadded-up duct tape, and a pair of pony-shaped earrings like the ones Jennifer Gilbert was wearing when she disappeared. When testimony resumes, prosecutors will attempt to show how their evidence relates to Dewey George Moore. Today's testimony clears the way for the state's star witness. Next Monday, a police chemist is scheduled to testify about her analysis of evidence in this case. Now, defense lawyers admit they've had their own independent expert analyze that same evidence. However, the defense lawyers are not saying what that analysis showed or even if their expert will testify during this trial. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Oklahoma County Courthouse.
Cox Cable Oklahoma City will remove the Playboy Channel from its lineup on September 30 at midnight.
Cox Cable officials said they were getting rid of the Playboy Channel for economic reasons, not because of any pressure from any pornography groups. And in fact, the sexually oriented channel had been ruled not obscene by an Oklahoma County grand jury. But regardless of why, it has given incentive to the Oklahomans for Decency to try now to remove the channel from every television set in Oklahoma.
There is a group in Tulsa that we will be coordinating activities with that will be challenging the Playboy Channel in Tulsa.
So if you get the Playboy Channel off in Tulsa, it wouldn't be shown anywhere in Oklahoma, is that right?
That's the whole thing, is to get it out of Oklahoma entirely.
Hands where you see him. Carter, come over here.
In Oklahoma City, the next target for Harper's group is the adult bookstores. Police have made raids like these in the past, but a dozen stores still operate. And Harper admits his group will have to use different tactics against the bookstores.
The adult bookstores is a totally different animal. Probably there to a large degree will attack them strictly from the health standpoint and perhaps with the help of the Oklahoma State Department of Health.
Harper says that if all allegedly pornographic material is removed from the county, the incidence of rape and other sexual crimes will drop by at least 50%. Jeff Fowler, News 4.
But you've made a laughing stock out of the horse people here in Oklahoma. You made Oklahoma the laughing stock of the nation.
This man was addressing the State Horse Racing Commission this morning. About 200 people showed up at the state capitol to air their views on the commission's proposal for only one major racetrack in either Oklahoma City or Tulsa.
The exodus has already started in southern Oklahoma, and I worry about the future and economy for my children.
Most of the people at today's meeting were from the southern part of the state, more specifically Love County, where an application for a $50 million racing facility has been turned down 3 times by the commission. According to the commissioners, the financing plan for the track is not sound. But these people were not here to argue technicalities. They say they passed pari-mutuel on a county option basis, and they believe they deserve a major track just like Oklahoma City or Tulsa.
People, I tell you how they feel out there, who got out and worked for this. They feel just like Moses did when he called out, "Let my people go." That's the way these people feel out there. They want to have an opportunity to track and not to dictate where they're going to be. Put it up front. If they've got the money, let them have it. Thank you.
Racing commissioners say they are not opposed to more than one track in the state, but they feel one major operation is all Oklahoma can support. They believe there is room for smaller tracks in other parts of the state.
Today's meeting was just a prelude of the battle to come this Friday. That's when the commission will gather to make their final vote on the proposed changes. They're expecting the same adamant vocal opposition they received today. Kevin Ogle, News 4 at the state capitol.
We're on the program and made us. But if we don't turn this around in the next few days, essentially 4 or 5 days from now, we are going to be at critically low levels and may have to end up curtailing elective surgical procedures, because emergencies would, of course, be of the highest priority for the usage of blood.
It's festival time again. Downtown's Autumn Jewel of a Fair opened today, shimmering with displays of nearly 50 artists. There'll be free entertainment daily and a scrumptious array of international foods now through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Kerr Park. Judy knows it's that time again. Her 39th birthday will be peanuts compared to the hoopla planned for her big 40th. Take the kids and join Judy this Saturday for free cake and ice cream at the zoo from 1 to 2 p.m. It's 4's Family Fun Pick of the Week. Then head to Frontier City, where PM Magazine will be filming their 5th anniversary special this Saturday. Bring a Coke can after 3 o'clock and get $3 off your entrance fee. Want more of the Wild West? Mosey on down to the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie for the Women's National Rodeo Finals this Friday at 8, Saturday at 2 and 8. Prefer Beethoven to bull riding? Don't miss the Oklahoma Symphony season opener this Sunday at 3 and next Tuesday at 8:15 at the Civic Center. Rachel Lambert has been called the Woody Allen of modern dance. Her troupe will be traipsing across Stage Center at 8 o'clock this Friday and Saturday. The nation's best one act is back. Lone Star is taking an encore this Friday through the 28th at Stage Center. Showtimes at 8 p.m. Speaking of the nation's best, some lucky Oklahomans will be swooning to this sight tomorrow night when Bruce Springsteen shows the Dallas Cotton Bowl Who's Boss. Closer to home, Lloyd Noble is packing them in for a Rick Springfield concert Friday at 8. Carpenter Square Theater is springing into their new season with the recent Broadway hit Agnes of God. 3 Oklahoma City actresses weave this haunting tale that runs tonight through the 29th. Or if the tapping's more your speed, trot down to Second Fret. Tonight's guests are country folk artists Dameron and Stone Rock. Tomorrow it's Appalachian fiddlers Lynn and Liz Shawn.
This was the scene Tuesday as dozens of angry southern Oklahoma residents came to protest the Racing Commission's proposal for just one major track in either Tulsa or Oklahoma City.
Do you people think that these counties would have voted this way if they didn't think they had an opportunity to have a track?
At this moment, we can only support one major track. That, we hope, will change in the near future, but all the financial studies we've seen indicated that to be true.
That idea became reality today as the commission approved the one-track proposal. If the commission has its way, it means the state's largest and most expensive racing operation will be built in one of the metro areas. And the commission believes there is room for several smaller intermediate parimutuel tracks, but the folks in Love County along the Red River already have an investor, and the idea of a smaller operation is just not acceptable to them.
Would you ask me to cheat the people of Oklahoma? I don't believe you would. And cheat the horsemen by lesser track, by lesser purses, by lesser revenue for the state? No, I would not accept that. I didn't come here under a false pretense.
Walcott is taking his battle to court, and he says he will build a major racing facility in Love County despite today's ruling. The court will decide that. The commissioners also established some tough new financial criteria, moral requirements, and exhaustive background checks on everyone involved in an application. The commission believes they will be able to make a decision on a major track for either Oklahoma City or Tulsa on January 23rd. Meanwhile, legislators from the Love County area are vowing to challenge the commission and its new policy. Kevin Ogle, News 4.
That wouldn't even put a dent in it, but it was not so much that this. Oh yeah, we were looking forward to a super rally. Well, it got down to a timing problem. It was a very ambitious undertaking on behalf of Merle Haggard, who has a heart as big as the plight of the farmers, you might say. And he had plans to start it in Bakersfield today and come through Oklahoma City as one of the stops along the way on Friday. But it got down to the point of some corporate money that just couldn't be handled in time.
Disagreement there is now if people are satisfied with the answer. So we need to look at it, yeah. But that's something that I don't want to put any limitation on what a committee should look at. I just think there's been enough question, and we certainly don't seem to be resolving it either through the House committee that's been set up or through the governor's office or any other agency. We ought to stop and look. And again, we ought to get to that fundamental question of whether or not what we're talking about now is the system we actually voted on in September of 1982.
Well, we had a very large storage tank, as I indicated, 10,000 gallons. If that had ruptured and caught on fire, we could have had one or two things, either a devastating fire or an explosion to the point where we could have perhaps blown a part of the interstate away here and done some damage to surrounding buildings.